Yo guys, it's JJ here, and today, guess what we'll be going through? A tutorial, what a surprise. And today, as you see by the title of the video, it's a Pyrex Whippa tutorial. I think he's a super dope producer, a bit more low-key compared to the others like, Big Boss Southside and all those other ones. To be fair, I'd say even Southside could be like, compared to for this video I'm about to go through. But before we get into this, drop a comment, like, subscribe down below. And now let's get straight into the joint. Firstly, we got ourselves a preset from Piano V2. It's called Japanese Grand Solo. Then I laid out this pattern, and all I did really was it's a 4-bar pattern, but copy E note, then went to E5. As you guys can see, I added this little 1/6 note from using the magnet tool. It made it sound like a nice little human touch. It goes bring, and then add some little fillers. Just a nice little repeating pattern, keeping it dark but like ambient at the same time. Alt S for strum, of course, and then a bit of Alt R to make it sound more human because you randomize those velocities. And with all that being said, this is what the melody sounds like. Sounds dark, ambient, and that's just what we wanted. First of all, of course, I got that halftime on gross beat. I think you could quite easily tell from hearing the melody. Then I whacked on an EQ, put off some highs, and then a lot of the lows. Next up, we got the RC20, because that's the boy. And then some reverb on top of that, of course, to give it a bit more like space. Next up, we got a preset from Nexus 2, of course, PD Aero pad. It's literally the first one in the bank for single layer pads. What I did was I followed the chords that were played, and then I also just added a few notes that I thought sounded good, and I randomized the velocities once again. So this is what the melody sounds like. Sounds pretty cold, sounds pretty dark, ambient, and that's what we want. Also, real quick, when I picked this preset, I turned off the reverb and the delay. I messed about with the release, the sustain, and just to make it so I could control the amount of reverb that came off the end. For effects, I added a very short bandwidth VQ. Cut off a lot of the highs after, just cut off a few more after that. Added a nice little filter effect, and a lot of the lows were cut out. Then I added just a default Portal preset, just because it gives it a nice little the movement. That's the best way to describe it. I can't lie, boy. And then reverb, because that's how we do it. Then next up, we got a preset from Expand 2 from Polysynths, and it's called Stratosphere. And this was the pattern I laid out. Again, I know, quite basic, but it does the job. It sounds really good, and this is what it sounds like. As for effects, we got ourselves an EQ again, another bandwidth, cut off a lot of the lows, a lot of the highs, but with a curve to it. Then we got some RC20, and I use a sampler 12-bitty noisy preset. And last but not least, Valhalla Vintage Verb. And as for the last component of the melody, I used a nasal clicker moog bass, and I adjusted the attack on the bass because it was a bit too like Detroit bassy, if that made sense. This was the pattern I laid, just followed the root note the whole way through and added these little accents at the end to give a bit of movement. And this is what the bass sounds like. Bing, bada boom, and that's the bass. And for the bass, I literally added no effects, by the way. Also, the very last thing I did for the melody was I grabbed all 4 of these together, I rendered them into an audio, and then I reversed it, as you guys can see from here. After reversing it, I pitched it down 300 cents, so it would be like a nice little verse section, a nice little switch up for the beat, gives it a bit of a dark atmosphere. With all that being said, I'm going to show you now the whole melody played together. And that, my friends, is the whole melody together. I think it sounds great, dark, ambient, gives room for the artist, does the job, sounds like Pyrex. And next up, we'll be getting into the drums. And first of all, we got the hi-hats. Realistically, it's a 4-bar but looped. So I'm gonna do a few rolls here, then a half step bounce here, a few more rolls, played with the velocity a bit, a few more half steps, a weird little roll. I don't know what this kind of roll is, but it's a roll, another roll, and I just copy and pasted it over. So with all that being said, this is what the hi-hat sounds like. Hey, sounding lovely.
Nah, jit, tripping.
Next up, we got a perk as our clap pattern, because usually you'll find like a lot of wooden perks, like there's little ones. You know what I'm on about. You've heard them before in Pyrex beats, and I'm about to show you it now. Okay, let's be honest. I don't think you want to hear a bar pattern of just wooden blocks just getting tapped. Now, next up, we got the airway pattern. First of all, always make sure your airways are maxed out velocities. You control A, and then you just scroll it all the way up. What I did was I pretty much laid down a standard pattern, and I messed with the notes that would be playing in said standard pattern, such as pretty much this whole segment would be just usually standard pattern, apart from here, which was added notes. And then same would be applied here, all standard pattern, and then a few weird added notes. This is what my airway pattern sounds like. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bam. And that's the airway pattern. And also, with Pyrex beat, you'll typically find him switch between the Z and the spins airway a lot, but I thought the Z sounded so much better on this beat. Next up, we got an open hat pattern. It's quite basic, as you guys can see, but it does the job quite well. And I made it in reverse, so it hits really nice with the whole beat. So this is what it sounds like. And that's the open hat pattern for you guys. Now, last but not least, we got ourselves the kick pattern. And of course, you know, gotta have my velocities maxed out. I pretty much followed the airway pattern, and then I decided to take out a few notes and put in some notes where I thought it sounded good. And this is what it sounds like. And that's my kick pattern for you guys. Now it's time to show off the drums, and this is what they all sound like together. And that's the whole drum pattern, and you guys have officially now made it to the end of the video. I would like to thank you all for watching, keeping up, enjoying the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know what you think. Have a great day, have a great rest of the week, and you'll hear the beat at the end of the video. Take it easy.